Sorry, I yelled loudly.
That's okay. I got the limiter on.
Okay. So
You can tell
setting?
Yeah, you can tell.
Wait, really? It automatically limits it when I yell?
It does. When the pitch gets too high, it does. Sometimes if you sound like all robotic, it's because it's bringing the decibels down.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hello and welcome back to Clownfish TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles. I am here by myself for this one because Neon is away and he's missing all the fun. Because now Disney, who cannot stay down no matter what happens, is suing Ron DeSantis and the new Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board and some other people over the whole situation going on at Walt Disney World. Now, Disney filed this lawsuit like within minutes of the board voting to nullify their backhand, underhanded agreement. So this is getting interesting. We're going to talk about that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Those of you who are liking and subscribing, woohoo for you. Okay, so this is important. So here's what's going on. Now, yesterday we talked to you about the fact that there was an agenda for meeting today with the new board at 9:30 a.m. And apparently, according to the New York Times, that they all agreed to nullify what Disney had done. Disney had done a restrictive covenants plan with Reedy Creek right before the new tourist board was signed into law and all that, and the district was, changed. They did this agreement. What came out, though, was that in among this agreement, their lawyer for Disney, they have it caught that they wrote the agreement. Disney is supposed to stay separate from Reedy Creek. The Reedy Creek was the governing, supposedly elected arm of the Walt Disney World area that they were part of, this district, special district. And Disney is supposed to, be in the district but not control the district, even though everybody knew that they controlled the district. And their own lawyer, John McCowan, chief counsel for Walt Disney World Resort, drafted the agreement that they all signed to give Disney all their power and not let the new board have any power. These restricted covenants were done by this John McCowan. And he sent them to the Reedy Creek's lawyer, Ed Milgram, and said, basically, put your name on it, Ed, because it might not look good. And then they even dictated the content of the agenda to make sure that they got what they wanted, which they weren't supposed to do. So they basically, saying that they were separate entities, proved they were not separate entities by writing the agreement, changing the names, and then they went into a contract with themselves, which apparently is part of the issue. So they've done a lot of shitty things, quite frankly. And now they're going to sue the governor of Florida and this new board who are doing their job because they nullified their contract, which basically gave Disney all their power, that everything had to go through Disney, but that's okay. The board could build the roads and infrastructure projects when Disney told them they had to. But then they wouldn't charge them any more than fair market value for the land to do it. I mean, the whole thing is a joke. It's insulting. Disney got caught, and now they're trying to sue, and Disney needs to stop because it's not helping their image at all. They're trying to argue that it's a relentless campaign to weaponize government power against Disney in retaliation for expressing a political viewpoint. If it was just that, that's one thing. But the problem is Chapek flat out said, we're going to not give money to anybody. And then everybody was surprised that Disney gives money to both sides, which I could have told you that for years because they always have. They try to play both sides. And then they got caught with that. And now Iger comes in, and then they tried this agreement. If they had just, stayed down. The Reedy Creek agreement should have been dissolved years ago. It was put in place for a city to be built, which was Epcot, which became a theme park. They have had unprecedented rights that other areas, other theme park areas, and other special districts didn't have. It was ridiculous. They could have built a nuclear power plant or airport if they wanted to, and no one could do anything about it. It's something that should have been taken away from them years ago to make it fair across the board. Plus, it's dangerous they had that company had that kind of right. So now Disney's having a little hissy meltdown, and now they're suing everyone. So after the board votes that, no, we're not going to let this go through, we voted to nullify 2 agreements, okay? And within minutes, Disney sued DeSantis, the 5-member board, and other state officials in federal court. targeted campaign of government retaliation, claiming now threatens Disney's business operations, jeopardizes economic future in the region, and violates its constitutional rights. It doesn't violate your constitutional rights because you really shouldn't have had the right to all that as it was. It just took away power that you shouldn't have had. However, I would argue, Disney, your business operations are in jeopardy because Universal's going to kick your ass. Your business operations are in jeopardy is because everybody keeps seeing you do this shit. And at first it was like, oh, Disney's fighting back. But now it's like, why are you still doing this? And then mostly your business is in danger because you keep making stupid choices. You keep price gouging the shit out of stuff. You keep raising the prices. You put out your Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and at first glance, it looks like, oh, the prices didn't go up. No. The majority of tickets, there are some tickets that stay the same price, but if you look, the majority of tickets through September and October have gone up $10 a piece. And it is well outpacing inflation. The ticket price increases from like 2019 to 2023 have been like 50 up to 50% or 47% above inflation rate. You did this to yourself. You're making people have theme park reservations, which is causing people to not go because it's too much of a hassle to plan a Disney trip. The mainstream media is calling you out. A lot of people aren't even looking for Disney anymore as a destination. They're going to other places like Universal. You did it to yourself, and it had nothing to do with Reedy Creek. But here's the thing. It looks bad when the company, this corporation, keeps doing these underhanded things and then they get caught, and now they're suing because if it was any other corporation, take the politics out of it. It's a company. A company had rights to do things like build a nuclear power plant, and they were listed as a city when they weren't. So the state comes in, and we'll just pretend that that it's a democratic state. Let's just pretend that for kicks and giggles. Comes in and takes the rights away from this corporation. You'd be like, oh yeah, go them, because it was Nestle or that My Pillow guy or whatever. You'd be all cheering about it. Takes his rights away from this corporation and says you have to have the same rights as everybody, as your competitors in the same area, same district, because you don't have the city you were supposed to be given these rights for. It needs to be fair. Y'all be like, yeah, go them. That's right. This company got caught supposedly saying separate from the governing entity, writing up the actual contract changes and then contracting to themselves. You'd be all like, holy shit, that's underhanded and not okay. But it's Disney. You're all like, yeah, go Disney. And then when the new board nullifies it, which of course they were going to, because the covenants were ridiculous, anybody would have. Disney, then this company turns around and sues them. You'd be like, holy shit, what the hell? Just stay down. But because it's Disney and because you're all so busy being politically motivated, you can't see that this is getting out of hand. Now, I will give you too, DeSantis, he really is like, because he's running for president, wants to run for president, he's kind of going overboard too in regards to like making the joke about the prison. And now somebody might have suggested it. He clearly was kidding, but it probably wasn't wise to say that. Because then the media is running with, oh, he said he's going to put a prison near Disney, which then further gives Disney, more sympathy. But that's not really what he said. But it really was dumb to say it. And in some ways it was gloating. And I think because of that, you're making it worse. It's a pissing match. We're all getting rained on. And everybody needs to stop this shit. But Disney, this is getting out of hand. Now they're going to sue because it violates their economic region. But Disney, you pay more taxes than anyone in that area of Florida. So how is that going to jeopardize your economic future? Because those jobs are still there. People are still going to the parks. If they don't go to the parks, it's not because of this. It's because you're too expensive and people are tired of your shit. This is after Bob Iger got in the shareholder call when many people called in and asked about the situation in Florida, told everybody Orlando was swampland. And this is the thing they put out when they sent out their damage control PR stuff to us. That area was swampland until Disney came in, which was true. That's not untrue. But basically, Orlando owes everything to Disney is the implication. And that, we create all these jobs. We pay more taxes than anyone in the area. And if you're against us, you're against business and you're against Florida. Basically, the implication that Iger gave was Disney is Florida. Florida owes Disney, and Disney should be allowed to do whatever the fuck Disney wants to do. And that's not how any other company is allowed to operate. And I don't agree with everything DeSantis has done, but I do agree with the fact that Reedy Creek needed to be nullified because it was purpose to what it is now were two different things, and Disney has been way overstepping with what they can do. Now, as far as DeSantis saying that Disney, gives its own property value, that wasn't really true, and I will say that. And he shouldn't have said that. But I can tell you that when they do get assessed by the property assessors in the area, they always fight the tax bill. Well, we shouldn't have to pay that. That's too high because we're Disney and we say it's worth less. They've even gone as far as to have the assessment methods changed. Because at one point they were counting Disney's brand into part of what the property value was. Disney fought and got it changed so that brand wouldn't be counted in. While at the same time, using the brand as the reason why they charge $600 fucking for one night in a hotel room. Because it's a Disney brand. Well, you can't have it both ways, Disney. You cannot. And instead of just like staying down and like working together and letting this go, no. Now they're suing the governor and this board, and the board's just doing their job. It's just ridiculous. So talking about the special tax district, which employs 75,000 people and attracts 50 million visitors annually. Yes, that's true. But so there's a lot of other theme parks in the area that also hire a lot of people and attract visitors. Okay. It was created in 1967, turning the property into its own county, giving Disney unusual control over fire protection, policing, waste management, energy generation, road maintenance, bond insurance, and development planning. Because it was supposed to become a city there, and it didn't. And also, because those are the things that you give control to a city. It didn't. But beyond that, I want to point out, they're talking about their fire protection and all that. Again, the Reedy Creek first responders have been complaining for years, and I've covered it for years on different blogs I've done. This is not new. They were not getting the funding. They were not getting the vehicles. They were not getting their equipment. They were not getting the repairs they needed that Disney was supposed to as their Reedy Creek, which apparently is Disney, even though they say it isn't Disney, was supposed to provide, and then didn't do it. And as a result, people were getting hurt. They themselves cited an example of a woman dying from a heart attack. They said that they think part of it was because they couldn't get to her fast enough because of the equipment. We were seeing it all the time. So Disney was supposed to be taking care of the guests and taking care of fire protection and making sure the guests are protected, and they weren't doing it. So you're all white knighting for Disney, go Disney because of politics. Meanwhile, you're being put at risk when you went to the parks, and potentially if something would have happened, you might not have got the help you needed in time because they didn't have the amount of vehicles or equipment because they didn't want to pay for it. Okay? But they're charging you how much money to be there. Okay? So I'm just like getting pissed about the whole situation. I'm tired of the pissing match, but I'm also really tired. I can't wrap my head around the arrogance of Bob Iger and Disney. So they're talking about the oversight board. They said that, the new board, they tried to argue that Disney made the covenants, that it wasn't advertised in newspapers. It was. In the Orlando Sentinel twice. However, their online version of the agenda for those two meetings, where most people would have got the information from, wasn't posted until March after everything was over, which was very unusual, given that they usually post the agendas before the meetings. But beyond that, they failed to notify landholders, property holders in the area via mail that they were going to make changes. They also apparently, according to what they were saying with the agenda from the new board, also did not notify the city of Lake Buena Vista and the city of Bay Lake because they acted like they were already included in the district, but technically they were separate entities. Disney was saying basically they controlled them, just like they controlled everything else in the district with Walt Disney World, which would not be the case because they did not vote. That area did not have its own two separate meetings and voting and all that as well. That's just what I'm telling you what they're saying. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what they're saying. So they're just talking about all this. They're saying one of the agreements gives Disney the ability to build up to 14,000 additional hotel rooms, a 5th theme park, and 3 smaller parks. Another restricts the use of other land, the strip clubs, for instance. Well, I agree with them on that one. They're mad because now they're trying to say that they need safety inspections on the monorail. I agree with them on that. I'm sorry. I do. I don't think the theme park attractions are any danger to anyone. I think they're actually well maintained and monitored. But the monorail, I'll give you the monorail because there's been pictures going around where the foundation pillar is cracking at Epcot. I have been on the monorail. They smell like piss. We got trapped on the monorail before. There's been numerous instances of the monorail. They are well past their expiration date. They need to be replaced. The supports and the track, it seems to be needing replaced. There's a lot of problems with it. So I 100% agree with them inspecting the monorail. I think you're totally fine on most of the rides at Disney World, though. They have their own inspection team, and I don't think they're going to let anything happen to you because they don't want to get sued. Yeah, here to talk about the nullification vote by the board came after the general counsel, Daniel Langley, presented evidence of what he called self-dealing and procedural unconscionability by pushing through the agreement earlier this year. He said that him and another board lawyer said Disney violated Florida law in multiple ways, including by failing to fully notify the public in the actions it took. What they created was a legal mess, Martin Garcia, the board chairman, said. They said Disney's lawsuit called the board's action patently retaliatory, patently anti-business, and patently unconstitutional. Of course they did, because, if you don't agree with them, you're against business and you're against Florida. You're probably also, a Republican and a no good person and an alt-right Yahtzee and everything else, because that's what these types do. Daniel Petrocelli, a high-powered LA litigator, filed the complaints on Disney's behalf in the United States District Court in Tallahassee. He was the lawyer for whom President Donald Trump turned in 2016 when dealing with class action lawsuit against Trump University and stuff. I know I think some of these lawyers have been working with Disney before. I agree. Yeah, here, categorize Mr. DeSantis as anti-business, anti-Florida. Again, he kept saying that. Well, he's anti-business. If you don't agree with Disney, you're just against Florida and anti-business, because once upon a time, this was just swampland until Disney came. And Disney made it amazing. And so Disney should get to, do what they want to do, while other, like Universal, they should have to follow the rules. But we shouldn't have to. We should be able to make our own rules because we're Disney. And that's what I have a problem with. This whole idea, I don't care if you're fucking Republican or Democrat. I'm honestly, at this point, neither one. Because I think, if I had to pick a side, it's going to probably be, more right this time, because I've never changed who I am. I was always a Democrat. But according to current year Democrats, I am, far, far right, even though I'm not. I think both sides are full of shit a lot of times. And I think both sides in this case were pushing. But I have to agree with DeSantis on this, and the fact that Reedy Creek should have been removed years ago. They had unprecedented power they shouldn't have had. It was for a city that never existed. It shouldn't be there. And I think Disney, it's not even about the don't say gay thing anymore, the parental rights and education. That's how it started. But that's not what this is about. This is about Bob Iger and DeSantis both being like, we don't back down, bullshit. And then for all of Bob Iger, like, well, I'll talk to DeSantis and we can sit down and talk this out. I didn't see Bob Iger getting on a plane and going over and talking to him, do you? He just basically went and got his LA attorney to come in and file shit. He didn't do anything. He's saying he did, but he did nothing. He's putting on a big show of he did this, he did that to stop it. But he personally didn't do anything except make the matters worse by going and getting a lawyer to draft draft their own agreements to themselves and everything else. They have not done anything to even try to work together to make it better. And the result's going to be a hit to their business, because most people are getting tired of their shit. And a lot of the stuff they're getting tired of with Disney isn't even about this. It's about the fact that Disney keeps price gouging, putting out subpar stuff. They have basically ruined Marvel. They have ruined Star Wars. Pixar is going to be probably rolled into Disney Animation. It's been relegated to Disney Plus. They have just completely, pissed off most of their fans in so many ways. And their park pass reservation system is a nightmare. It's so hard to go to Disney parks anymore. It's ridiculous. You have to have everything planned. You have to pay Genie Plus, which everybody hates Genie Plus, which was Iger, as I've pointed out many times. There's all these things they're trying to do to price gouge and cash grab. They personally have ruined their own business by their behavior. And now they're trying to say that this agreement that basically says, you have to play by the rules and get the permits and stuff like everybody else is wrong. Now, if it turns out that it's being done in a way that they have to take extra steps that Universal or SeaWorld would have to do, then I would agree with them that that's going too far. They shouldn't have to do anything more than Universal and SeaWorld do. But they shouldn't have to do no less than Universal and SeaWorld and other parks in the area have to do. That's just fair. And it sounds like, honestly, at this point, it's coming across as a giant fucking temper tantrum, is what it's coming across as. And I think everybody's just getting tired of it. Between DeSantis and Disney and this big pissing match, everybody's getting peed on, and everybody's fucking tired of it. But then Disney just will not do anything to work together to solve it. They just keep making it worse. Like, what can we do to make the situation worse? Oh, shit, we got caught. Quick, sue them. I'm like, this is what Disney always does, isn't it? Oh, quick, tie him up in court for years. We'll spend a lot of money. Quick, try to bury him. And you know what? They did that to that whistleblower, Sandy Kuba. And they tried to do it to her, and she won. She beat Disney. So you don't hear about it because they make sure that stays hush hush. But and sadly it cost her a lot. Her husband killed himself and a lot of other stuff over the situation, and it's terrible. I can't imagine what she went through. But she beat him. But they tried the same thing they do every time with everybody else. Either they pay you to make it go away, or they tie you up in litigation hell to get their own way. Well, good luck, because now you're suing. But if it's tied up in litigation hell, I don't know how much you can do, Disney. I don't know how much you can do about putting a fifth gate in and all this other stuff, because you're tied up in litigation hell. So it's not to your best interest, because you can't just go and do this anyway. If you're telling them they can't do anything because the contract, you can't do it either, because the contract, it was voted to be, voided. So I don't know, it's actually going to hurt you more, I think, than it would have been just hey, let's sit down and figure this out. Everybody's tired of both our shit. Let's sit down and figure this out. But no. And you can blame this one on Iger. Chapek initially, for sure. But Iger's the one who escalated it significantly. And if they hadn't done this stuff, they probably could have, okay, pissing match over. Now we're going to sit down and work with the board. And I'm sure they would have worked with them. And I do think it's crap that it was only appointed by the governor on this board. So it's only certain people that he trusts and that lean a certain way. I don't agree with that either. But at this point, the board's in power. Reedy Creek has been dissolved. And now Disney is trying to turn around and sue everybody because they didn't get their way. That's basically what's going on. We didn't get our way, so we're going to sue you. And then people who normally would see this with any other company and be like, what the fuck? Are like, yeah, go Disney. You go, you show them. You show them what's what. But if it was a Republican company and a Democratic government doing the exact same thing, y'all be cheering for the government. Everything is so much wrong with this picture. Just take your fucking political glasses off and look at the facts and look at the situation. And you guys won't do that. And that's the problem. Anyway, this is all my opinion. Neon isn't here to give his. So you just have to listen to what I say, I guess. But you can go look it up. There's lots of this out on the internet. Everybody's talking about it. You can probably find the exact information. They said that the company has a right to freedom of speech just like individuals do, which is true. But this isn't about freedom of speech. This is about Disney having too much power. And I will agree that no one did anything about it until Disney went out there and basically pushed back. But Disney, in the meantime, while all this is going on, Disney is also going around hiring lobbyists to try to go after Republican people in Florida. They're already doing everything that they're complaining that they're doing to Disney. Disney, before they even sued, were out there doing the same damn thing. It's pot or kettle Disney, potato, potato. It's the same thing. Same coin, different side. Just one has pixie dust on it. Anyway, like and subscribe. You can agree or disagree. I am not a lawyer, so I might have got some stuff wrong, and that's fine. Comment below. Tell everybody what you think. I probably won't read it, but go ahead and tell everybody what you think. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.